Hello, this is my DS105 Details Mission project. If we press start here, the player is greeted to a menu screen and a title. If the player presses quit, then the application quits, and if the player presses play, then the application starts and we get to play the game. So if we press play, the game instantly starts. The rules of the game are very simple. You as a player have to complete 3 laps around the track before the box that has just went away. The box makes itself around the track by itself. Controls are very simple. You use WASD to control the ball, and to steer use the mouse, to rotate the camera. Whatever direction you're facing is that the direction the ball is be moving. Other features consist of a little menu up at the top left, an overall timer, a current timer which resets every time you complete a lap, and a lap counter every time it goes up by 1 when you do a lap. Now if you want to go over to the code, in the code we have I'll go over to the play button. In the play button, this controls our menu screen. I decided to use a scene manager because it was the easiest. We have 2 functions. We have public void start game and public void quit game. In the start game, I use a scene manager, and basically it loads up the game scene whenever the function is called. And a quit game just use application.quit to shut the game down. One of the main features that I want to talk about, because I can't talk about everything due to time limitations, is the movement of the ball. This is in Ball Controller 2. There are other things in this code that control other things, but I want to talk about the movement first and foremost. So we have public ball speed. This is a variable, so I can set the speed at which the ball will be moving at. We initialize this to be 2000 at the beginning, so because the ball moves quite slowly, we still have to set it quite high. If we go down in void update, we have 2 variables that get created, x and y speeds. These are inputs from the keyboard on the horizontal and vertical. We then create a vector3 movement component, which it takes in the main camera's transform of the forward. This is so that we can define the direction of the movement as the forward from the camera's transform. We just want to make the ball move in the direction the camera is facing, so we had to do this. We then take the rigid body of the ball, and then to that body we apply torque, and then so that we can make the ball spin, and then finally we apply force to that body in the direction of our movement, so that the ball is pushed rather than just floats towards a direction whenever we press W and instantly stops it, so that it makes us feel that it's rolling. Because we're controlling the camera, because we're controlling the ball for camera, we have to go over to the camera follows script, which is also one of our main scripts. We have 3 variables: player, offset, and turn speed. The player is a game object, so that we can set the game object to let the camera know what object to focus on. And then also we can take the transforms from the player. And then we have a vector3 for the offset, so that we can find out at what position our camera will be set at. We then have a turn speed, which is a float, so that we can set how the sensitivity at which our camera will be rotated around our player. We take the offset, and then we take the transform of our position, current position of the camera, and the position, and we find a difference between them. And then these basically just constantly find at what position our current transform is, and then compare it to the offset transform of our player, and try and lock it around the same position always, so that the camera doesn't move away from our player. And then this line here, we use a continuing to angle axis. The continuing to angle axis handles the rotations around the axis of the player, takes the mouse input and rotates our set offset at the speed of 4 units. Continuing to angle axis, continuings in general just are in control of all rotations that happen in Unity. And then I want to move on, and if we're talking about movement, I want to talk about the movement of our box. So we'll go over to target location script. Just similar to the ball controller, we have things that are happening other than movement, so like the game pop-ups. This is true so that whenever the box wins, that we can have a lose message, but I'll stick to talking about the movement. We have a couple little variables here. We have array, so that we can set how many waypoints there are. There are 50 waypoints around the map, and we have a speed, so we can set up the speed of the box. We have a current, so that we can check out what waypoint the box is currently at. We have a min distance to the box, so that when the box gets the distance, the minimal distance of to that waypoint, and moves on to the next one. We then go to void update, and it finds so we make a float distance variable, which basically takes in the position, finds the current position of our box, and sets it to this variable. And we then make the speed to be about 60, so it's quite competitive. And then we finally we have an if statement which checks the current position. And if it's not equal to the position of our current waypoint in line, then we check the distance of our current position, to our location basically. And if it's more than our minimum distance, then we move towards, we make the box move towards that waypoint. We take the rigid body of our box and then transform it so it looks at that waypoint when it's moving towards it. And if the distance is less than or equal to our min distance, then we move the current up by 1 so that we can move on to the next waypoint in our array. And then when we get to 50, we set it back to 0, so it does a loop and then constantly goes around the track.